Hey there, welcome to Multimedia 110, Visual Communications Design. I'm Curtis Stage, Los Angeles Mission College. Today we're going to be doing a Photoshop demo in Photomontage. We're going to be using Photomontage techniques in Photoshop, and we're going to use as our inspiration this Hannah Hoke collage that we see, or photo montage that we see. I'm going to kind of create something that's similar to this, but this is our inspiration. We're going to make it exactly like this, but I'm going to kind of use elements that will kind of set up a composition like this one on the left hand side. So I'm going to put this over to the side. I'm going to open up Photoshop. I'll just have it over to the side for reference. I will upload that to modules so you have it as well. And then I'm going to open up Photoshop. If you don't have that open, do that, and you're going to either go to File, New, or Create New in this window. So if I click Create New, I'll go here. We're going to click we can look at this top bar up on the top, which is going to give us some possibilities. And if I go to print, you'll see that I've got an 8.5 by 11, 8.5 by 14, 11 by 17 and such. We're going to stick with the 8.5 by 11, and we're going to put this resolution at 200 resolution, and the RGB can stay at 16-bit. That's fine, with a white background. So this is our setting right here. You'll want to kind of make sure your settings look like this. So again, ours won't be exactly the same as Hannah's, but we're going to try to use her as inspiration. So I'm going to click Create. I have my grid on. If I don't want my grid on, I can turn that off. So I can go to View and then Show and Grid, and I'll uncheck that. Okay, so that's happening. Now, I like to have my layout look a certain way. I want it to be very minimal, so I have my toolbar on the left. I want to make sure that I have my Layers panel open. If you do not have your Layers panel open, you're going to go to Window, Layers, make sure that's open. So those are the two panels that I need open. I don't necessarily need anything else open right now. Your Photoshop may not look the same as mine, so you can go over here to the top right corner and you can click Essentials, and then it's going to look kind of like this maybe, and if I go to Reset Essentials, you'll probably look like this. And then you'll have some windows that I didn't have before. Here's my Layers panel. So I just want to have this Layers panel, and I don't really need any of this. I can move that over like that just to give myself some more room. So I had a workspace that was already created. It was called the Curtis App Workspace, and that looks like this. So we won't get into creating workspaces, but chances are if you go to Essentials, that's pretty good, and make sure that you just have your Layers panel. All right, I'm going to pull my Layers panel actually off of here so I can get to it easier. So I'm going to do this and kind of make it a little smaller like that so we can see it, maybe move it over to the side, shrink it down. You can see on Photoshop how you can really move things around. A little bit different than some of the other image editing programs like GIMP, which we also use in this class. So if you're using Photoshop, of course, you're following the right demo. So the first thing I want to do is I want to open a series of images. This is my canvas to work on. I'm going to save it before I do anything else. I'm going to go to File, Save As. You can save it to a folder or to your desktop. This is going to be, you want to give it a name. So right now it's untitled, and its format is a Photoshop document. So I'm going to give it a name. This, of course, could be, I'll just do Montage for short. And we want it to be a PSD for now because that is our working master file that we have all of our layers in. I'm just going to save it to my desktop for right now. You can also save it to a folder if you want. I'm going to click Save. Okay, so now you can see up on this tab, it is labeled montage.psd. So I've got it ready to go. I'm going to open up some images that I've pulled off of the internet, and I'm going to have those available for you on Canvas in the module so you can use those images, the same images I'm using. That might make things easier for yourself. So once you download those images, I'm just going to minimize this. So once you have them on your desktop, you can open them up. I'm going to take them and drag each one of them to the Photoshop icon on my Mac dock. And when I do that, it's going to open up a tab. So watch when I do this. I'll take this and I'll drag and drop it right on the Photoshop icon. And then it'll open up. Don't worry, your montage PSD didn't go anywhere. Now we just have tabs like this. Okay, so I've got that one open. I'm going to open all of them that way. Or you can also right click on your image or control click and say, or open with and pick Photoshop. So you can do that as well. And they're each going to open up in their own tabs. So I'm going to go through and open all the pictures up that I need for this project, because we're going to bring them all together and work on them in this master document. But I got to have them all open. So let me go to this one. So I'm just picking them all and doing this, going through, and then last but not least, this one, and open them with. So I can do that, or I can drag them to Photoshop. So my untitled one is, if I look, I've got all these right here, right? I've got all these right here. There's my untitled one. Now, the first thing that I want to do is I want to kind of make a background. So what she did is a lot of these she did on paper with glue. This was, of course, back in the 30s, in the 40s, and she was, kind of working with actual photographic images and cutting them out and then putting them back together as collages, but they're, and then retaking a photo of them. So that became montage. So, and a lot of hers, of course, we talked about this in the reading, a lot of them had to do with identity. And so you'll see a lot of female figures. It was questioning a female figure in the world that was going on at that time. So staying within that, I'm going to concentrate on the background and make kind of a background pattern here. It won't be exactly like hers, but let's do that first. So the first thing I want to do is, again, just kind of leave this over the side as a reference. First thing I want to do is pick one of these colors. So I've got my blue color right here, let's say, right? So I want to pick this one, and I want to get it into my PSD. How am I going to do that? Well, there's a couple ways you can do it. If we go up to Window, and we go to Arrange, and I can pick 6 up, right? Because I've got all these images open, and there they all are, right? And I don't even see my blue one yet, so I'll start with this one. So here's my untitled montage. Oh, there's my blue paper. It's with the untitled. So I'm going to start with the red one then. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Move tool in Photoshop, which is right up here, Move tool, and I'm going to click the red texture. I'm going to drag it right into the Photoshop icon and click yes to this. Okay, that's fine. So I've got that going on. Okay, once I've got that going on, then I'm going to take this yellow one. I'm not going to take any of the people in. And then take the yellow one or the cream one and take that in here and click yes. They're going to come in as separate layers. I can close both those now. So I can close this and close this. And now I'll take the blue one. Now the blue one is, let me go to Window, Arrange, and go up to Tile All vertically. So I've got that maybe. And now I've got this one way over here, and I can take this and drag it over here and click yes. So I've got that. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my montage, and I don't want to see all these other ones right now. I'll get rid of the blue one. Don't want to see all these other ones right now. What I want to do is go to Window, Arrange, and consolidate all the tabs. That takes them all back to tabs. Now, when I'm in here, what's great is I've got these 3 that I brought in here. I move them with my Move tool, and they're all in as layers. Right? So I've got them all in here as layers. And I can't see the red one because it's underneath this one, but I can move this. So I can move it out of the way. So I'm going to change their layer order. I like that yellow one since it's bigger. I want that one to be kind of my background. So that one's going to fill up the whole space. And then maybe I want to click on the blue one, move that one with my Move tool, and then my red one. And I want to maybe change the angles of these. So maybe I'll take the red one, and I'm going to turn this one. Now, how do I turn it? I'm going to apply a transform on it. So on a Mac, it's Command T, Control T on a PC. And when I do that keyboard shortcut, it's transform. I can also go to Edit, Free Transform. Once I get this, you can see that you could resize this image by holding down Shift and grabbing a corner. And if you hover your mouse towards one of the corners here, you could rotate the image. So I'm going to rotate this one. And I'm going to size it. So I rotated it, I turned it, and then I held Shift, and I'll size this. I'm going to put it up in this corner like this, something like that, and kind of get it like almost like a triangle there. I'm going to hit the check mark. So that's pretty cool. Now again, I'm just using Hannah's as a loose reference. Now I'm going to take this one, and do the same thing. Command T or Control T on a PC. Grab a corner, hold Shift down, make it big. Okay, and then maybe this one's going to be down here, like not turned. Maybe I'll just have this blue one down at the bottom. Now again, I'm giving you the elements. You can do whatever you want with them, and then you can make your own after you make one of these. So I'm going to hit the check mark, and notice now I've got kind of a pattern going, which is really cool. Now what I want to do is bring in the face. But I don't want the whole face. I don't want the whole body. I just want her face, right? And maybe some hair. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this and I'm going to go, I want to see these side by side. So I want to go to Window, Arrange, and I want to say 2 up horizontal. Let's see, let me close. Actually, I'm going to go to Window, Arrange, and tile all horizontally or vertically. So I want to take this with my Move tool. I want to take her and drag her, just drag and drop and let go and click Yes. Okay, great. Now I want to go back to Window, Arrange, consolidate all the tabs. Awesome. So now that I have her in here, and look at what layer she came in on. It was just because I was clicked on this blue layer. I'm going to bring her up to the top. So she's above all these other layers. So I change the layer order by clicking and dragging, and I'm drag her up to the top. Now what I want to do, I'm just keeping this simple, right? This can be kind of a little sloppy here with the montage. So I'm going to click a selection tool over here on my toolbar. So I'm going to go to this one right over here, the polygon. I'm going to hold my mouse down. You'll see probably in your toolbar a freeform lasso tool. That one's pretty good too. So I could freeform draw around her. Or I can go to the polygonal lasso tool. And when I do that one, I'm going to click, make my first point, and kind of loosely click around her face. It can be very geometric. Remember, these early photo montage artists were around the same time as Cubists, and a lot of them were Dada artists, which were very similar to Cubist artists. And so a lot of the stuff was very angular and cut out. It wasn't smooth. I'm not trying to fool anybody. So I've got this happening here. You can see that I've got marching ants going around her face. Awesome. So now what I want to do is I actually want to get rid of everything else. So I've made this selection around her, and if I hit delete on my keyboard, well, I'm going to delete her head. That's kind of cool. Command Z is undo. I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is reverse this selection. I'm going to go to Select, up at the top, Inverse. Now you can see my marching ants are not only going around her head, but they're also going around the whole image. And now if I hit delete on my keyboard, look at that. Now I only have her head. Now I don't want to leave these marching ants on, so Command D is deselect. I can also go up to select and deselect right here. It's grayed out because I already did it. All right, so now I've got her head there. Okay, awesome. Now I could move her below this layer right here and go back to my Move tool and move her. I want to make her face bigger. So Command T is transform. I'm going to hold Shift down. If I don't hold Shift, she's going to get distorted. So I want to hold Shift and grab a corner. Doesn't matter which corner. And then maybe I'll kind of do this and just kind of put her underneath that. Again, I want to be inspired by Hannah Hawk and Hannah Hoke and maybe kind of create my own. So I'm going to do something like this. Okay, pretty cool. All right, so I'm going to hit my check mark. And of course I can go and look at what she did over here. We didn't see the girl's face at all, so maybe I don't want to have that identity. Maybe I want to go even bigger. Command T and hold Shift down and then kind of go up here, put it underneath there, and then rotate by, see how I rotate here? I hover my mouse just past that corner and then rotate up. And I'm going to leave a little bit of the eye and kind of do something like, and I like a little of that hair coming out. So maybe I'll do a little bit of the eye like this, hit the check mark. Great. Now what I want to do is I want to get one of the pairs of legs. So I've got this eye for in a minute. I'm going to go and get one of these guys. So I want to bring that into, I'm going to close down the photo by hitting the little X. Now I've only got 3 left. So I'm going to go to Window, Arrange, I'm going to say 3 up horizontal or whatever, it doesn't matter. And now I'm going to take this one with my move tool. You got to switch to your move tool and drag this swimsuit one into here. Click yes. Now I can close the swimsuit one, and I can go back to window, arrange, consolidate all the tabs. And now I'm going to take this one and make it big. Command T, transform it. Hold down Shift and grab a corner. Make it pretty big. And I'm going to concentrate on one of these bodies. I think maybe her, which one? Maybe this one. I like how the angles changed a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to hit the check mark because I like that size. Hit the check mark. And I'm going to do the same thing here that I did a second ago. I'm going to use the polygonal lasso tool, and I'm going to loosely go around this girl right here, this woman in the bathing suit. So I'm going to kind of, it doesn't have to be perfect, right, for this photo montage, because think they were cutting these out with scissors or straight knives or whatever. So I'm going to kind of go around, loosely kind of geometrically go around her. Of course, if I was trying to make this look seamless, like in our reading, the last artist that you saw was Eric Johansson, right? And Eric Johansson, he's a current photo montage artist. He wants to make his images look seamless. So what he does is he doesn't do this kind of crude cutting out. He goes in there and really masks out his images perfectly so he can make a seamless transition between one image and another. And so you as a viewer wouldn't know the difference. Now, we want people to know this is a photo montage, but he actually wants to trick the viewer. So there's no tricking the viewer in these old ones. These are just, it's actually good that you know that the images are coming from different sources. All right, now that I've got her selected, you want to go all the way around and meet back up with where you started. That's how you make your selection. And if you're having trouble using the polygonal lasso tool, you could just use the lasso tool if you want and go around it loosely that way and kind of draw it freehand. Okay, so now I've got this. I got to reverse this again or inverse it. So I'm going to go to Select, Inverse, and you'll see I have marching ants going all the way around. So now I'm not actually picking her body. I'm picking everything else around it. I'm going to hit Delete on my keyboard. Great. Now I've got this. Now Command D is deselect. So I don't want the selection. Now I want to go back to my move tool, and I don't want her above the head. I want her below it. So in my layers panel, I have to switch the order. There we go. And so now that I've switched the order of her, I want to make the figure a little bit bigger. So Command T one more time, and I'm going to hold Shift down and make her a little bit bigger here. And something like this. So it maybe even a little bigger. I'll go something like this. And then maybe I'll turn it. Maybe I'll turn it like that just by grabbing a corner, because I kind of like that arm, kind of like the hand. So maybe I'll just turn it extreme here, just make a cool dynamic composition. So I'm just keep turning it because I'm kind of responding to the hand. Now, if I was really getting crazy here, I could do something pretty cool. That's a little too extreme. So watch what I'm going to do. This is going to be kind of interesting. Little advanced technique here, but I like this composition here. Okay, so I'm going to hit the check mark to apply that. Now, still on this swimsuit girl's layer, I want to actually cut out this arm and put it on its own layer above the head so that it overlaps. Watch how I do it. I'm going to go back to, I'll use the freeform lasso tool now. And I'm going to go kind of the shoulder and grab this whole thing. And I can't see the hand there, but I guess I'm getting it. Okay, now I've got a selection. Now what I can do, this is really cool. I'm going to go up to Layer, New, Layer via Cut, or via Cut right here, or Shift Command J on a Mac, or Shift Control J on a PC. Now I've got this on its own layer. There it is. Look at this. And now I can move it above the head layer. So now it overlaps. I've got this overlapping going, and all I did was cut it off the bathing suit layer and put it on the layer above. So now I've got this hand overlapping her face. This is awesome. I love it. Okay, now for the big eyeball, right? So I'm going to go back to Window, Arrange. Now I've got just two left. Just the one I'm working on and my eyeball. And so now I'm going to go back to my move tool. You always move an object with the move tool. I'm going to take this eyeball. I'm going to move it down to the corner. So I'm going to grab it. Oops. I'm going to grab it and move it and click yes. There we go. Now when I've got it down here, I can do any number of things. I can cut it out or I could leave it kind of square. So what I kind of like is to play around with it. Maybe I want it down. Maybe I want it there. Maybe I want it a little bigger. Let's see what Hannah did. She kind of cut it out loosely and put it down there. Okay, but I feel like I need something over here, so I'm not going to put it in the same place that she's putting it. But I don't want it to be a perfect square. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my freeform lasso tool right here, and I'm going to loosely kind of go around this. Right? I'm going to kind of draw around. I just draw. And I'm going to kind of keep it rough. I like this kind of rough cutout feel. Okay, now I'm drawing around the eye. That means I have a selection there. But what I want to do is I want to inverse it again. So I want to go to Select, Inverse. Notice how the marching ants are all the way around the picture, just saying that, hey, you're picking everything outside the eye. I'm going to hit Delete. Now, mine's feathered here because I have a feather. Look at right up here. I don't want that. So I'm going to Command Z and undo. And if I have a feather that's happening right here, I'm going to take that back down to, I'm going to delete that off there. I don't want a feather. So now when I delete this, took the feather out, now when I delete this, there should be no feather down here. So I'm going to go back to my, I'm going to stay on my lasso tool, take that feather down, off, and should be able to, doesn't want me to take the feather off. Let me do it before I do this. So unfortunately I had the feather on there already. I'm going to take this down to 0. Watch how I take it down to 0. I'm going to all the way down to 0 pixels. Now I'm going to go around this. Should have just done that in the first place. So I'm going to go around. I'm just going to draw like that. There we go. Now I'm going to do that inverse. Select, inverse, delete. Now I have no feather. It's a hard edge. Now Command D, deselect. And there I go. I've got this, and now I can go back to my move tool, and if I want to make this eye bigger, there's a little piece over there because that was off screen, I guess. So I can go and just select around that and delete it. I'm going to just go around that. All right, delete. Remember, I have to be on the eyeball layer to be doing this. Command D, deselect. Now I'll go to the move tool, and I'll move this, and I like it kind of off screen, and maybe I make it bigger, Command T, or maybe I make it smaller. But I kind of like it maybe overlapping. I need something down in this blue, but I kind of like it off a little bit like that, just to create like a visual balance, right? Just create a visual balance here. I kind of like it off the screen a little bit and maybe tilted up because the head is tilted, you know, kind of this way, and the red box is tilted that way. So maybe I'll tilt this eye just a little bit just to kind of counteract the tilt that's happening with that red. I'm always thinking when I'm designing and making art, I'm thinking about composition and how do you lay things out and how do they interact with each other? How do the objects talk to each other in the composition? This isn't really, we've talked a little bit about principles and elements of design. While this isn't a design class fully, I want us to understand some of these principles and elements, right? So how these, what the spacing is between the objects and how they relate to each other is really important. So this is where we employ some of those principles and elements. So space, scale, right? Some of these things, color is an element, line, texture. We've got some texture with these papers, so we got some texture there. So we want to start thinking about principles and elements, and certainly these artists were thinking about these principles and elements as well. But anytime we're creating work, we want to think about that stuff. So I'm always looking at the composition and trying to decide what's going to be best and what's going to make it look the best for the thing that I'm trying to produce. So for this project, you want to have some sort of theme, right? So maybe you want to do one of these. I'm going to encourage you to do another one now. So this was our practice demo one. Now I want to encourage you to do your own and maybe pick a theme, like a political theme. In Hannah's case, it was a theme that was, maybe about women's identity. You can make the theme about anything you want, but I want you to pick something that we kind of get it when we see it, right? So political is really easy, right? And we live in such a political time right now that it might be a good idea to start bringing back photomontage to dealing with politics. So hopefully this helps you kind of get started with your Photoshop. And if some of you I know are new to Photoshop, so this is very basic, right? I'm trying to do this stuff very basic. If you have any questions, hit me up on Canvas. You can always come in if you can make it to on our campus at LA Mission College. You can come into our labs. So just look at our lab hours on the multimedia website, lamission.edu/multimedia, and go to the lab info, and you'll find our lab hours. And you can always work there in our labs and work on Photoshop there. All right, this has been a video tutorial on photomontage using Photoshop, and we'll see you guys next time.